Hello everybody, it's Mrs. Mallory. I am here with my weaving with paper video. This is going to be your next challenge here for art class. You have a little while to do this, so you'll have this week and next week to try your weaving project. So we're going to start off. I'll show you this example. You can see a little closer here. This is paper woven together. This is just plain paper that I had and then I colored on it. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do it with what you have at home. Move that out of the way. So I'll show you how to make that first one. Basically what I did was, let's get this out of here, was first I cut a piece of paper to be the same size as another piece of paper, okay? And you can see, like, my fingers can come through here now. All you do is first you fold that first piece of paper in half, and then you just take and you cut into the ends close to here. You're just going to stop short, and it's going to be like a bunch of flaps. Can you tell that? And I'll do this again in a minute, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview, and then I'll back up, okay? So then when you open it, you've just got slits in between or down the page there. For weaving, you're going to take the other piece of paper and you're going to cut strips. And I colored all over this piece of paper before I got started. So I colored. I just did a bunch of stripes. I did a bunch of scribbles. I did whatever I felt like. You do whatever you feel like. You want to put hearts all over a piece of paper, see what happens, or you want to color a paper all red so you have red paper. You know, do whatever you want. Maybe your favorite football team, your favorite baseball team, whatever it is, you can use those colors in your weaving. You could even color this one before you cut it. Just do something to where they're not the same. Maybe this is black and gray, and this one over here is red and white, so that you get maybe a Buckeye one. Or, you know, whatever combination, make sure that you're choosing colors here that you're not using over here so you don't get confused as you're weaving. Okay, so weaving, all you're going to say to yourself is over, under, and it becomes like a checkerboard. So you're going to go under the second one here, over the first, under the second. It's like you're crawling through a tunnel. So you're going to just go, reach in there with your fingers, and slide that all the way. And that's why you want it to be about the same size. You want to use two pieces of paper about the same size, because then when you get to the end, you don't have anything hanging out here or hanging out down here. But you can always trim it off if you accidentally use too long of strips. It's no big deal. Or if you like how it looks, maybe it looks really cool and you want to leave those hanging out. And under, over, under, over, and see, now it's already like a checkerboard. Check yourself. If you're going through the same the whole way, then you just get colors side by side. But if you go through using the pattern that I just said, then you've got the squares staggered like a checkerboard. Okay, so check yourself, and you might have to take that out and start again. So the next one, since we're over and under, then this one here, we're going to go over it under the second one. You could even make yourself a new checkerboard. Make a game out of it. These are cute as wall hangings, or you can glue it to another background of paper, make it a little stiffer. In the end, you could even go down through with some glue and just put a little dot underneath here, underneath there, just along the edge. Maybe get some help if that glue's coming out too fast. If you have a glue stick, that could help. Or you could even just put some tape around the edges if you wanted it to stay together much better. You'd tape a piece of yarn to it and have it hang, as long as your paper is thick enough to where it won't get saggy on you when you hang it up. So there, I won't do the whole thing, but you see the idea. You're starting on one side, you're kind of pushing them together. It's kind of like a basket, okay? So let me show you something else you could do. If you say, I don't have any paper and I don't really feel like coloring a page, Mrs. Mallory, well, find a colorful page in a magazine that came in the mail or something. Find a colorful page that came with the mids bag with all these ads in it, okay? So you can use any paper that you have. So I'll set these over here. I already prepared one of those pages for you. So again, here's like a little page that I found that was very bright. So I thought, well, that was pretty cool. The back side was lighter and the front side was brighter. So I thought, well, that's a good combination. So I folded it in half and cut it in half this way. And I made strips out of the other half, okay? And you can see I'm not going to want the red side facing up because if I weave it through here, you're not going to be able to tell. But when you flip it over, you've got a lighter piece. So I'm going to use that side. I cut this paper and this page out of the magazine in half. I folded it in half, I guess the one half. I folded it in half. I cut clear down through here. I made these a little bit skinnier. I wanted to see how that would look. And then open it back up. I'm going to leave the red facing up. So I'm going to use the lighter side. And again, I'm just going to start again, going through under, over, under, over. It can feel a little bit tedious at times, but once you get in the groove, it's not so bad. It's kind of a fun little activity to do, a repetitive activity, and get your fingers back to being busy doing something fun. Okay, so you can slide that one in there. Then I'll go to the next one, and since I started over, I'm going to start under. So I'm going to slide under, and if you just barely lift it, it just slides right on through. Try to find your groove and see how easy you can make it go through. And that's why you might want to start with a small one and not that huge example that I showed you. Because maybe it'll be easier. You won't feel overwhelmed. And then see, I slide those in there. And you can already see that basket start forming. See that? So that's kind of fun. And then we're going to start over and then under. There we go. So it's a little bit of a way to recycle some paper using stuff that you have. You can use newspaper, you can use magazine pages, and you get the idea. It just kind of goes like that. You could use this as just a little, like I said, a wall hanger or whatever, but it's more about just teaching you what weaving is and how weaving works. And then in the future, when we get to do, maybe you get to do some basket making, you'll understand the process of how a basket gets built. Or if you do start doing anything with yarn, you could figure out that a little bit faster, that there's a pattern to how people go about knitting or crocheting or stuff like that, which is much more complicated, but it gets you on the right path. So I would finish that to the end and then see what you want to do with that. You can hang it, or you can just share it with me and say, look what I did. There is one more thing I wanted to share. That you could, since we are all putting hearts on our windows right now, you could take, let me get a bright marker that you can see, take your piece of paper, whatever you're using, fold it in half, and then you're going to do just like a big, either an upside down J or like a fish hook or something. Some of you say, I can't make a heart, but there's really no right or wrong. So I'm going to do big loop, like a big J that's kind of leaning like that. Make my heart as big as I can. That's your half of a heart. Now you're going to cut it out. And this could be something you put in your window. Or maybe put it in the mailbox, give it to the mailman or something and write thank you on it for all you're doing. Something like that. So then you're just going to take and you're going to cut little strips on your heart. Okay? You need them to be straight. Don't be tempted to go crooked like this because it's going to be too hard to weave it. You're just going to have to leave this part out. It's not going to have weaving at the top. So just try to keep your lines going in the same direction. As best you can, just kind of keep them that way. Okay? And then you're going to have to trim your pieces as you go on this one. So this is more of a challenge to weave the heart, okay? It's going to be a little bit more challenging. And I'll just use the strips that I didn't use over here, but you can cut new strips out of something and see what happens. You're going to have your strips kind of not have some place to go. So you're going to have to start here like this, and then you might just cut that off at the angle and then you'll glue that there. So this one's a little bit more tedious, a little bit more difficult maybe to see how it would go. Let's see if we can go down to the next one. Maybe not, we'll fit one more here. So we're gonna go under and over and under and over. And then you could just let that be like that. You can glue that and let that strip stick out the top. See how fun that is? And then we'll be able to start on this one. And then we'll go under, over, under, over, under. And you could leave that just like that, or you can cut that off at an angle and kind of have it line up with the other. You just slide your scissors underneath there and give it a little snip. And give it a little snip. And then those kind of line up and give you a little border around the edge. You could go back with crayons or markers and put little dots around the edge or whatever you want to do. So I don't have a little cut there. So I'm going to have to go completely under to start over. Under. I'll post pictures of these when I get them done, okay? And then you can see how they turned out. That one's kind of fun. Okay, I got half of my heart done. I'll keep on going to the end. You'll just kind of trim them as you go. It's kind of a brain teaser. You just have to kind of let yourself be a problem solver and fix it any way you want. And then you can put that in your window. Okay? Enjoy this project. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.